You fall asleep just fine. For a lot of you, that's the easy part. You're out within minutes of your head hitting the pillow. It's 3 hours later that it happens. Around 3 in the morning, sometimes a little after, your eyes open in the dark and you are wide awake. Fully alert, like it's the middle of the afternoon. Heart beating a little faster than it should be, your mind already switched on and running through everything, while the clock tells you that you have to be up in 4 hours. So you lie there. And the longer you lie there, the more frustrated you get, until the frustration itself is keeping you up. I want you to know something 30 seconds in. This is not random. Your body is waking you at almost the same time every night for a specific physical reason, and it is not just a part of getting older. More people have described this exact thing to me than almost any other complaint, in nearly the same words every time. I can fall asleep, I just can't stay asleep. And most of them had already tried everything the internet told them to. The melatonin, the chamomile tea, no screens after 8, going to bed earlier. Most had seen a doctor too, and walked out with a sleeping pill, or with some version of, "It's just your age." And some of that standard advice does matter. A cool room, no screens, I'll stand by those, and if you haven't done them, do them. But if you've tried all of it, and you're still staring at the ceiling before dawn, it's because none of it touches the real trigger. The real trigger is a surge of cortisol. That's your main stress hormone, the same chemical that's supposed to wake you gently in the morning, firing off hours too early in the dead of night. Something sets it off. And once you know what, you can shut it down, often that very night. So here's the plan. First, I'll show you, fast and in plain English, why this happens. The handful of things that flip that switch at 3 a.m. Then I'll give you the fixes. The well-known ones first, the ones you may have already heard, and then the ones almost no one talks about, the ones I've watched pull people out of years of broken sleep after everything else had failed them. And before you click away thinking you've heard every sleep tip there is, the single most powerful fix in this video has nothing to do with your bedroom, your phone, or what time you turn in. It's about something happening in your blood while you sleep. That's the one that finally cracked it for the people who had given up. So stay with me for it. Before we get into it, one quick thing. Everything I'm about to give you tonight is part of how I think about staying strong, sharp, and independent well past 60. I took the core of what I tell my own patients and put it into one simple plan, and it's already helped thousands of people live their best life after 60. If you want it, the link is right there on your screen. You don't need to write anything down. It'll be waiting for you when the video's done. To fix the 3 a.m. wake up, you have to understand one thing about the second half of your night. When you first fall asleep, you drop fast into deep sleep, the heavy, dreamless kind where your body does its repair work. But that deep sleep is front-loaded. Most of it happens in the first few hours. By around 3 in the morning, you've used most of it up, and the back half of your night runs on much lighter sleep, the kind you can be pulled out of by almost nothing. A noise, a full bladder, a small shift in temperature, or a little chemical alarm going off inside you. That's the part nobody explains to you. In the back half of the night, the door is already cracked open. It doesn't take much to push you through it. And after 60, it takes even less, because the amount of deep sleep we get drops steadily with age. Researchers at the National Institute on Aging have tracked this for years. The deep sleep that used to carry you straight through till morning simply isn't as deep anymore. So the real question is this: what is pushing you through that cracked open door at 3 a.m.? There are 4 things that do it. 2 of them you've probably never once heard blamed for your sleep. And the last one is that blood sugar piece I promised you. Let me take them in order, fast. The first one is the obvious one, but most people get it backwards. It's your stress system. Cortisol is supposed to follow a daily curve. It bottoms out in the middle of the night when you should be in your deepest sleep, and it climbs in the early morning to wake you up. That's the design. But if you're carrying a lot of worry or you've had years of stress stacked on your nervous system, that curve gets shoved out of place. Your cortisol starts climbing too early, sometimes at 2 or 3 in the morning, and it yanks you awake when you should be dead to the world. You know this feeling. Wide awake but exhausted. Tired and wired at the same time. Your body is flooding you with a wake-up chemical hours before the alarm. And the cruel part is that once you're up and frustrated, the frustration itself raises cortisol higher, which is why you can lie there for 2 hours and not drift back off. Hold on to that, because the strongest fix I have is aimed straight at this curve, and it happens in the morning, not at night. The second one catches a lot of people off guard because it feels like it should help. The evening drink. A glass of wine, a beer with dinner, a nightcap. Alcohol is a sedative at first, so it does help some people fall asleep faster. But your body burns through it in a few hours, and as it clears, it triggers a rebound, a little kick of adrenaline, and a lighter, more broken sleep in the back half of the night. So you go down easy and you wake at 3, almost like clockwork. If you have a drink most evenings and you wake in the small hours, those two things are connected far more often than people realize. The third one is the bladder, and I want to be careful here because this one runs in both directions. A lot of you tell me you wake up because you have to use the bathroom, but in plenty of cases, it's the other way around. The light sleep wakes you first, and then, once you're awake, you notice your bladder and you assume that's what got you up. After 60, this gets tangled together easily, partly because the body makes less of the hormone that concentrates urine overnight, so you genuinely do make more. We'll deal with both the waking and the fluid in the fixes. For now, just know that I only wake up to pee is not the whole story for most people. And the fourth one is the hidden one. This is the blood in the blood sugar fix I promised you, and for a lot of people, it is the whole ballgame. The mechanism is simple. You eat dinner, maybe something light, maybe a little sweet, hours before bed. Your blood sugar rises, your body releases insulin to bring it down, and then through the night, with nothing else coming in, it can dip too low. Your brain runs on sugar, and it does not tolerate that dip quietly, so it does the only thing it can to protect itself. It sends out adrenaline and cortisol to pull sugar back up out of storage. And those are the exact same wake-up chemicals we've been talking about. The dip happens, the alarm fires, and you're awake at 3, sometimes with your heart pounding, sometimes a little sweaty, often hungry even though it's the middle of the night. This is why people who eat very little at dinner, or who eat a sugary snack right before bed, are often the ones with the worst 3 a.m. waking. The fix for this one is so simple it sounds too small to matter, and I'll give it to you in a few minutes. It's quietly the most powerful thing in this whole video. So those are the 4. The stress curve, the evening drink, the bladder, and the blood sugar dip. Now let's fix them. I'm going to start with the well-known advice, fast, because you've likely heard it, and some of you have already done it. Keep your bedroom cool and dark. Stop caffeine by early afternoon, and yes, that includes the iced tea and the dark chocolate. Get off the bright screens in the last hour. Keep your wake-up time the same every single day, weekends included, because your body clock is set by when you get up far more than by when you lie down. These are real, and if you've skipped any of them, start there tonight. But this list has a ceiling. If it was going to fix you, it already would have. Most of you watching have done some version of all of it, and you're still awake at 3. So let's go past it, to the ones almost nobody hands you. Quick favor before I give you the best ones. If anything so far has made your own nights make a little more sense, take 1 second and hit subscribe, and leave me a comment with the time you usually wake up. I read them, and the patterns in those comments tell me what to cover next. And if you know someone who's up half the night, send them this. It might be the thing that finally helps. So, the fixes that actually move the needle. The first one fixes your night by fixing your morning, and almost no one connects the two. Remember that cortisol curve, the one shoving its way into your sleep too early. You reset that curve with light, first thing in the day. When bright morning light hits your eyes within an hour or so of waking, it anchors your body clock and pulls that cortisol peak back to where it belongs, in the morning, instead of letting it drift into the middle of your night. Cleveland Clinic and circadian sleep researchers have been clear on this for years. Light in the morning is one of the most powerful signals you can send your internal clock. So tomorrow, get outside within an hour of waking. 10 to 15 minutes, even on a gray day, even just standing on the porch with your coffee. Outdoor light on an overcast morning is still many times brighter than your kitchen. Do it daily, and within a week or two, many people find the 3 a.m. wake starts to soften. It feels unrelated to sleep. It is one of the most direct sleep tools you have. The second one sounds backwards until you understand it. a warm bath an hour or two before bed. To fall and stay in deep sleep, your core body temperature has to drop. That drop is one of the signals that tells your brain it's truly night. When you soak in a warm bath, blood rushes to your skin and your hands and feet, and as you get out, you dump that heat, and your core temperature falls faster and lower than it otherwise would. Researchers at the University of Texas reviewed dozens of studies on this in 2019 and found a warm bath 1 to 2 hours before bed helped people fall asleep faster and sleep more soundly. The timing matters. Not right before bed, an hour or two before, so the cool down lands as you're trying to sleep. Third, there's a mineral most people over 60 are quietly low on, and it's one your nervous system needs to power down at night: magnesium. As we age, we absorb less of it, and certain common medications, including some water pills and acid reducers, pull it lower. Magnesium helps quiet the nervous system and supports the calming signals in the brain that let you stay asleep. I'm not going to oversell it. It is not a sleeping pill and it won't knock you out. But in someone who's running low, getting it back up can take the edge off that wired, can't settle feeling. The form matters. Magnesium glycinate is gentle and well absorbed and won't send you to the bathroom the way the cheaper magnesium oxide can. Ask your doctor before adding it, especially if your kidneys aren't perfect, but for many people it's a quiet, steady help. Fourth, and this is for the moment itself, what you do in the first 10 minutes of waking at 3 a.m. decides whether you're up for 10 minutes or 2 hours. Do not lie there fighting it, watching the clock, doing the math on how little sleep you're going to get. That spikes your cortisol higher and teaches your brain that the bed is a place to be alert. Instead, the moment you realize you're properly awake and stuck, take a few slow breaths where the out breath is longer than the in breath. A long, slow exhale is one of the few direct ways you can dial your nervous system down on purpose. If you're still wide awake after 15 or 20 minutes, get up. Go to another room, keep the lights low, and do something boring and quiet until you feel sleepy. Then go back. I know it feels like the opposite of what you want to do, but getting up is how you stop your brain from learning to wake at 3. And now the one I promised you at the very start, the blood sugar fix, the thing happening in your blood while you sleep. If your 3 a.m. wake comes with a pounding heart or a little sweat, or you're strangely hungry in the night, your blood sugar is dipping and your body is firing adrenaline to rescue it. The fix is a small, smart snack before bed, and it can't be sugar. That just sets up the very crash we're trying to avoid. It needs to be a small amount of protein and healthy fat, a spoonful of nut butter, a few nuts, a little plain Greek yogurt, a boiled egg, something that gives your body a slow, steady trickle of fuel through the night so the sugar never dips low enough to set off the alarm. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Margaret. 64, woke at 3 almost every night for the better part of 3 years. She'd done the cool room, the no screens, the melatonin. Her doctor had offered a sleeping pill and she didn't want to live on it. When she described waking up with her heart going and a strange hunger, that told me where to look. We did 2 things: a small spoon of almond butter before bed and morning light on the back step every day. I'll be honest with you about the result because I always am. It was not the very first night. But inside 2 weeks, she was sleeping through more nights than not, and within a month, the 3 a.m. wake was the exception instead of the rule. No pill, a snack, and some sunshine. That's how small the real lever can be. Now, one honest caution before I send you off to try this. If you wake up gasping, or your partner tells you that you stop breathing or snore violently in your sleep, or you wake with real chest pain, that is not the cortisol curve, and it is not blood sugar. That can be sleep apnea or a heart issue, and it needs a doctor, not a bedtime snack. Most 3 a.m. waking is the harmless, fixable kind we've covered. But know the difference, and if that's you, get it checked. So here's everything quick for tonight and tomorrow. Tonight, keep the room cool and dark, skip the evening drink, and have a small protein snack, a few nuts or a spoon of nut butter before bed. In the morning, get outside into the light within an hour of waking. Through the week, lock your wake-up time, look at whether you're low on magnesium, and run a warm bath an hour before bed when you can. And when you do wake at 3, slow your breathing down, and if you're still up after 20 minutes, get out of bed instead of fighting it. None of this is a pill. Every piece of it is a lever you hold in your own hand. And most people find that within a week or two, the night they used to dread starts handing them back their sleep. One last thing because it matters. Some of you are doing everything right and still waking up exhausted, foggy, like you never really rested at all, even after a full 8 hours. That's a different problem, and it comes down to a breathing pattern in your sleep that most people over 60 never get diagnosed. I'll show you how to spot it in yourself and what to do about it in the next video. I'll see you there.